Nothing I love more than when haters and the British press line up, microphones polished, headlines pre-written, ready to humiliate Meghan Markle, only to trip over their own shoelaces and accidentally announce that she's made an absolute fortune off jam. Jam. Not a memoir. Not a Netflix exposé. Not a royal tell-all. Jam. You can almost hear the panic through the paragraphs, the nervous energy, the frantic calculator tapping. Because suddenly this isn't a failed duchess playing at homemaking. This is a woman who quietly put fruit in jars and turned it into a reported $27 million moment. And the British media? They're tracking her like she's launching nuclear codes. Every step, every stock unit, every candle, every sprinkle. I genuinely wouldn't be surprised if someone at this point is counting how many hair strands Archie and Lilibet have left on their scalps. That's how obsessive this has become. They wanted to write about her failure. Instead, they're writing about her profit margins. They wanted to mock her domesticity. Instead, they're auditing her inventory like she's a FTSE 100 company. The irony is so thick you could spread it on toast, preferably with Meghan's jam. When the takedown became a sales report, the unexpected victory. Nothing, and I mean, brings me more joy than watching the British press roll up with their smug little headlines already drafted, cameras angled for maximum humiliation, ready to dissect Meghan Markle's latest failure, only to accidentally stumble face first into reporting that she's built a $27 million jam empire. Not a memoir dripping with royal secrets. Not a Netflix docuseries designed to burn bridges. Not a tearful tell-all interview. Strawberry preserves and lemon curd and lavender honey. The kind of thing you spread on toast while reading the very tabloids that are now frantically recalculating their entire narrative. Because here's the twist they never saw coming. Meghan didn't win by playing their game, she won by ignoring it entirely and selling domestic bliss in beautifully branded jars. And now? Now they're obsessively tracking her business metrics like she's a FTSE 100 company, writing breathless updates about stock levels and SKU numbers, practically filing quarterly earnings reports on her behalf. They showed up to roast her lifestyle brand and ended up as her unpaid accountants, refreshing her website at midnight, doing inventory audits in the comments section, and reluctantly admitting that maybe, just maybe, the Duchess they wrote off as irrelevant just became one of the most fascinating business stories they never wanted to tell. The glitch that changed everything. Let's talk about the so-called glitch, because this is where it gets delicious. An online shopper accidentally tries to order a ridiculous six-figure quantity on Meghan's as ever website, and boom, the system reveals remaining stock numbers. Suddenly, social media turns into MI6 for preserves. People start cross-checking numbers like it's a forensic audit, posting screenshots, doing the maths, whispering, "Oh my God, she sold how many?" Amateur forensic auditors in their pajamas, calculators out, spreadsheets open, tracking Meghan's inventory like they're uncovering Watergate. And the beautiful, beautiful irony? The transparency they stumbled upon, this accidental peek behind the curtain, didn't expose failure. It exposed scale. Massive, undeniable, cannot be spun away scale. The kind of numbers that make lifestyle brand flop narratives curl up and die quietly in a corner. This wasn't a leak Meghan wanted. This wasn't strategic PR. This was the internet doing what it does best, finding the receipts. And the receipts said one thing loud and clear: she's selling out. The Times' accidental own goal. And then the Times steps in. Kate Manzi, assistant editor, January 7th, 2026. Very serious tone, very measured language. And yet, own goal of the year. Because buried inside all that careful phrasing is the headline they never wanted to write. Nearly a million. You can practically feel the editor's hand shaking as they approve that one. The headline itself is an admission wrapped in barely concealed horror. They tried so hard to make it sound like qualified reporting, like proper journalism with appropriate skepticism. But the numbers don't care about your phrasing. The numbers just sit there, massive and undeniable, staring back at anyone who reads it. No spin can save you when the figures are that enormous. No amount of nearly or reportedly or sources suggest can diminish what nearly 1 million boxes actually means. They wanted to write a takedown. They ended up writing a sales report. The mathematics of success. According to the numbers left on the site as of January 3rd, there were roughly 137,000 signature fruit spread boxes remaining. Sources close to the business suggest the original purchase order was 1 million. If that's true, and nobody has actually disputed it, then Meghan sold about 535 boxes of jam. At roughly $42 a box for the signature trio, that's an estimated $26.7 million in revenue. From jam. Somewhere, someone who once wrote Duchess of Delusion as a headline is now quietly screaming into a teacup. When the press accidentally became Meghan's publicist. And what makes this even funnier is the tone shift. Because suddenly it's not, she's irrelevant. Suddenly it's, well, actually, business seems to be flying off the shelves. That's a real quote, not limping, not struggling, not being propped up by pity purchases. Flying. The narrative whiplash is genuinely extraordinary. 1 month, they're preparing the funeral for her business credibility. The next, they're forced to report that the patient is not only alive, but doing Olympic-level sprints through the marketplace. And you can feel it in the language, can't you? That grudging, teeth-gritted admiration dressed up as journalistic neutrality. Oh, but she's expanding in 2026. Oh, but this is in association with Netflix. The subtext screaming through every carefully chosen word. They showed up to write an obituary and accidentally filed a profit report instead. When the truth slips out against everyone's will. Let's pause here, because this wasn't leaked by Meghan. This wasn't a press release. This wasn't a braggy Instagram caption with a beige background and a cursive font. This was accidentally revealed, inadvertently exposed, against her will. The press had to report it because the numbers were just there, staring back at them like surprise. That glitch, that beautiful, chaotic website glitch, did what no PR team could ever orchestrate. It forced the media to reckon with reality in real time. The success existed independently of Meghan's promotional efforts, stubbornly refusing to cooperate with the narrative they'd spent years perfecting. There was no spin to dissect, no press release to dismiss as puffery, no carefully curated post to roll their eyes at. Just raw stock data, sitting there like evidence at a crime scene. And the media? They had no choice but to report the facts, staring them in the face. You can almost taste their reluctance in every carefully worded sentence. Sources suggest, according to remaining stock. They're doing journalism against their will, like hostages forced to read a ransom note that says, "She won." The demand behind the numbers. She talked about expecting the stock to last weeks, and it sold out in hours. The conversation went from a few thousand jars and lids to, we need to order 1 million. That's not luck. That's demand. That's branding. That's timing. That's knowing your audience. This isn't some fake viral moment manufactured by bots or bought influencers. This is actual human beings clicking buy so fast the servers probably caught fire. The jump from a modest first batch to a million-unit purchase order isn't a vanity project. It's a retailer saying, "Holy hell, we need more. Now." That kind of scale-up happens when the numbers prove something real is happening, when the data screams louder than the doubters. Victory outside their control. But here's the part that truly rattles them. This wasn't luxury fashion. This wasn't inaccessible elitism. This was jam, honey, wine, candles, sprinkles, domestic joy, cozy capitalism, products you put on your table, not behind glass. Meghan didn't sell aspiration, she sold participation, and people showed up with their wallets. The British media has spent years insisting that Meghan has no appeal, no influence, no pull. And yet here they are, writing article after article about how many units of her products are left, counting candles, tracking rosé bottles, reporting on flower sprinkles like it's a royal census. They are nervous, because this success exists outside their control, outside the palace, outside the UK media ecosystem that once decided who was allowed to win. Meghan didn't need their approval, and now she doesn't need their permission either. And the irony? They're the ones confirming her success. They're the ones doing the math. They're the ones publishing the figures. They tried to embarrass her, and instead they rang the cash register on her behalf.